Hi everybody and welcome back to another NIMS Ramble. Now today I will speaking to you about how to turn bad news into more acceptable news for yourself. Now, bad news comes in all shapes and all forms, and often we cannot change certain things about the elements being thrown our way. Example, here in Ontario currently we're having a strike for our educational system. I can't change the fact that the school has gone on strike, but we can make it more acceptable for oneself by simply looking internally and seeing what we can do to change. Now, one, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling angry, sad, the first thing to do is you stop. Stop anything you're doing. Don't post, don't gossip. Stop. Isolate yourself. And two, you meditate and you look internally. So sometimes you need to stop and figure out what is it that about that situation that is unsettling me. And finally, you go to three and you ask the big questions like, what's the lesson here? Sometimes it's as simple as we got to accept the things we can't change. Sometimes it's a little deeper and a little harder depending on the circumstances. Sometimes there's nuggets of wisdom. So you say, is there any nuggets of wisdom in the situation I'm being intertwined with? You could also ask yourself, why is it that I feel a certain way? Why is it that I feel angry about the strike? Why is it that I feel angry that my ex-partner is treating me this way? Why am I feeling angry about my children misbehaving? You ask yourself that way, because it's important. If you know how you feel, then it's easier to be able to let it go. Now, the other question you can ask yourself is, what are the things that I can change about this circumstance? I can change things about myself. I can make sure that I'm not approaching this thing from a judgmental standpoint. I can make sure that I'm not being negative and angry, and that I am the best version of myself through this situation. 4. Now, you make a plan and you honor it with action and belief, because intention plus action equals always massive results. So you have to have the intention to want to have something different in the circumstance. For example, for myself, I made a plan to not let anything outside of my home affect me emotionally. So it's okay for the teachers to strike. They have the right to. And I also have to make sure that no matter what happens externally, that internally, I'm at peace no matter what happens, that I'm okay, that whether the schools are opened or closed, I will have everything I need here at home to take care of them. And if I don't, I make a plan to be able to provide those things for myself and my family. And I honor it. I don't procrastinate. I don't put it off to later. You do it. And finally, 5, it's not the mistakes that you make. It's all about the recuperation gestures and the actions honoring those lessons that you've learned. We are human. We always make mistakes, and it's perfectly fine to do so. What is mostly important, though, is those gestures of recuperations afterwards. Once you do catch yourself, once you realize you've made a mistake, not to just sweep it under the carpet and be prideful and not humble yourself. Do the recuperation gestures. Learn the lesson. Apologize if you need to. If you have done something wrong. Focus on being the best version of yourself instead of the worst one. And do not lower yourself to everybody else's hatred, because in the end, most people just want you to react negatively to their negativity. And with that is how I personally turn my sometimes chaotic life into more acceptable things for myself. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful couple weeks, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks for another NIMS Ramble. I love you, lovelies.